Many of you have heard that California was hit with a 7.1 earthquake. This is right after the quake that hit on the 4th of July. And they're saying in the coming days, y'all, it can be another earthquake in that very same area. So I'm sure this is very scary for the residents there, y'all. Now, I spoke to True Royal, who called me shortly after this quake hit and was giving me a lot of insight on what was going on at that time. So, as you can see, NPR, Southern California hit with another big earthquake. And they just published this at 4:11 a.m. So, this is pretty much a good update for the Southern California earthquake that hit at 8:19 p.m. local time Friday. So it was reported as a 7.1 quake, and they said the depth of the quake was 10.5 miles. There were people in Canada that also reported feeling this quake, as well as Las Vegas and Mexico. And yeah, I mean, this thing was pretty powerful. 7.1, wow. So it was centered near the same spot out in the Mojave Desert, where on the 4th of July, you had the 6.4 quake on Thursday, and it was near the small city of Ridgecrest. And True Royal gave me a lot of insight about Ridgecrest. Okay, so, just like we heard on the 4th of July, they said, they haven't had a quake this size since 20 years ago in Southern California, and the aftershocks. That's when you're feeling the constant movement of, these little tremors. And, and I was listening to True Royal, and I was also going out there reading. Y'all, some of these aftershocks can go on for weeks. Sometimes it can go on for months. Okay, if you can just picture in your head the ground just constantly moving, tremors. Yeah, I mean, that can jack up my psyche, that's for sure. So the aftershocks followed and more and expected over the coming days. Now they're saying one more quake will probably hit, more than likely, in that same area. And they're projecting that it's going to be around a 6.1 or higher. So there's they're letting the people know to brace yourself because another one is coming. I mean, these are less than 24 hours apart. You had the one from the 4th of July, and then you had the 5th of July at the 7.1. Not even a good 24 hours. I mean, that is unnerving. So, you had the mayor that came out, and she said most of the residents slept outside of Ridgecrest. They just slept outside, because they don't know what's going to happen. And you also have fires. A lot of fires have broken out over in that area after the earthquake. In fact, there's a lot of fires going on in the country. So, they're saying that the local authorities were inundated with reports of gas leaks at residences and have received reports of at least 2 structure fires. Yes. Now, the electricity, they're saying 3,000 people in that area are without power. And Kern, Inyo, and San Bernardino counties, a spokesperson told NPR, Nathan Rott, The company stressed that numbers will fluctuate throughout the night. And then the fire department came forward, and I don't think there were any deaths, but there were multiple injuries and multiple fires, according to the fire department in that location. And California Highway Patrol said portions of State Route 178 were closed because of rock slides, but they were quickly reopened. And then the governor has requested a presidential emergency declaration from the White House. He put the State Operations Center of Governor's Office of Emergency Services on the highest alert. Wow. Yeah, this thing really got people on edge over there, and I don't blame them. I mean, you're talking about two quakes that were pretty strong, y'all. You know, if those things would have lasted even a few seconds longer, it could have been devastating over there. Jones went with new terminology, changing the description of Thursday quake to a foreshock in light of the larger one. Yeah. I mean, it was almost like on Independence Day when that quake hit, everything shifted from what Trump was doing onto the earthquake. Nobody was even paying attention to that parade anymore. And I was looking at, it was a lot of people on YouTube that live around in those areas that were affected. And I was watching how fast they were popping up on YouTube, and people were showing you their chandeliers moving back and forth and pool water just splashing all around. So, there were, and some people just sat and described how it felt. That 6.4 when it first hit. And you had the same thing last night with the 7.1. There were a lot of people coming online and either showing you or just telling you about what they felt. Reports say the quake was felt as far as Sacramento, to the north, Mexico, to the south, and Las Vegas. And like I said, I went online and I saw reports from Canada reporting a 5.4 around that same time earthquake. Okay, the rolling was felt at sports events throughout the region. Yes, I was watching the basketball game between New Orleans and the Pelicans. And those players, they stopped right in their tracks. You could see when that quake happened, everything came to a halt. You may be able to find that footage out there. I was looking at that last night. I mean, they literally stopped playing that game. They felt that. A few injuries were reported from the quake the day before, although broken gas lines caused 2 house fires. Wow. Y'all, this is deep. And let me tell you, the weather over here was pretty violent last night. We had some pretty strong bolts of lightning. And there are so many things going on. It's not even funny. I spoke to my uncle down in Florida, and he told me he sees all of those iguanas just running everywhere. He said there are a lot of them running around, But he was telling me they weren't really bothering his house too much. But he said he do see a lot of them out there. And we talked about how the residents can go out there and kill them. But he told me, he said, Lisa, those iguanas have been here for years. He said, yeah, they're might be a lot more than you saw before. But he said he always saw them. And he said some of them are pretty big. He said they get pretty big down there because they find so much to eat. And he was telling me, yeah, he, because I was like, they're not even native from there, and he says no, they're native in Central America. He said it's just like those anacondas that are down there, those pythons. He said those things got down there because people brought them in, just like the iguanas. He said people brought them in and then they just started running around and multiplying. But he said for the most part, he sees them, but they have never done nothing to his property. So, he said he wasn't going to go out there and try to kill any, not unless, things change. But he said, yeah, they are everywhere. They are everywhere down there. And wow, y'all, if I wasn't living to see the things going on right now, I wouldn't believe it. This is just unbelievable. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.